Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm Catherine Coffer, transition expert and minister. Together, we'll break through life's toughest barriers, rediscover joy, and start dreaming again. It's time to embrace life fully with purpose, passion, and hope. Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm your host, Catherine Coffer, and I'm here on site with Cynthia Gregory. And my show is where I bring inspiration through life's transitions. And we're here in Sonoma. It's such a beautiful day, and we're behind a little, what kind of tree is that?
I think it's a tulip tree.
Anyway, it's gorgeous. And so welcome to the show, and don't forget to look for the adventures of Debbie and Theo. It's the last 10 minutes of the show. Okay, so I am going to introduce you right now.
Yay.
So this is Cynthia Gregory, and she's an award-winning writer and author of Journaling from the Sacred Soul. I mean, she has 3 books out now. And so she has a bachelor's degree in journalism, and she has a degree in literature from Mills College. I think that's a master's degree.
It is.
It is. So she has just written her 3rd book.
Yes.
And it's about, is it coming out or is it already out?
It's out. It came out at the beginning of 2024.
You have another one.
I do have a new one coming out. Okay, so she has a 4th one coming out. Okay, so she is a best-selling author and just a lovely lady all around. So she is going to show us how people's stories, so she does a lot of short stories of people and how they overcome things, and maybe they're God stories where God has brought them to a place where it's God, and you know God was when
there,
you know.
Right? So anyway, so tell us about kind of your start for even wanting to journal, and then now where you're at, because it's a great story.
Well, thank you. I started writing as a teenager. I found that, teenagers have a lot of emotional stuff going on. They have to try to make sense of it. And I found that when I wrote stuff down, I could manage my feelings better. Got them out of my head and out of my heart and onto the page. It made it so much easier. And then I just devoured everything I could read, because I love stories. I've always loved stories. I devoured everything I could read. Hemingway, Fitzgerald, all of it. And then I started writing stories, and I would submit them and get rejected. So I had to develop a bit of a thick skin, and I just kept writing, and I kept studying, and I'd keep sending stuff out. Eventually, I started getting these little mimeographed rejection slips with a personal note. Keep going, keep working at it. And it was all the encouragement I needed. And then I kept working at it, and then I started getting accepted. And then I started winning literary awards for my stories. So it was all the encouragement I needed to keep going. And then in, 2008, when I wrote my first book called Journaling is Sacred Practice, I had a bad breakup. I know. But instead of eating a gallon of Haagen-Dazs or something, I decided to journal my feelings, and I was going to channel those feelings into something productive. So I sat down for 40 days in a row, and I wrote 1,000 words a day for 40 days.
Dang.
And I had a book.
You're like, I'm a writer. I hate journaling, so I'm not a writer.
Well, I was really lucky that I studied it so much, so I had things to say about it. So this is a book about how to journal well and how to be productive with it. And then during COVID, everybody had a COVID project.
COVID.
Yeah, everybody has a COVID project. So I sat there and I was teaching a writing class during COVID, and I realized in my journaling process that a story was coming through. And so it was a story about COVID and the fires that were here in 2017. And that became what I determined would be the capstone story in this book called What is Possible from Here. So it's 11 stories, some previously published, some brand new. And it was about these experiences that I had vicariously, but then I wrote them as a fiction and let them kind of have their own evolution as a story.
Okay.
That was really fun. And then Love Notes from the Soul.
That's a good one.
In early 2023, one of my dear friends was turning 80, and she said, hey, do you want to go on a silent retreat in Big Sur? And I went, well, yeah, I do. So we went to a Benedictine monastery down in Big Sur, high above the ocean. I was sitting there one morning reading Mary Oliver, just absorbing the beauty of the place, listening to the monks chanting in the background.
Oh, wow.
And I was just overwhelmed with the beauty of the place. And I got a download, and it was just Love Notes from the Soul Anthology. It was like marching orders.
Wow.
And then I started talking about it, and people were going, oh my gosh, yes, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. So I had 30 authors from 7 countries who wrote stories about something that changed their life in a significant way, but not just something that changed their life, what they did with it was the really interesting part.
So it would give viewers and people ideas of how they can overcome their trauma or loss.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because everybody has loss. Everybody has some kind of trauma in
Nobody
their life.
gets off scot-free. Everybody
No.
has something to deal with. And I think that because these authors shared their vulnerability and what they learned from it, it gave people permission to kind of look at their own circumstances and say, I can do something with this. I can make something better from this. It was great.
Wow.
It was really great.
That's awesome. Is there any story in that book that might be able, that really struck out at you that could help, almost all people? Do you have, I know you have many, many stories.
I know. There's one in particular that just touched my heart so deeply. This is a beautiful woman that I met who had tragically lost her 5-year-old daughter 20 years earlier in a horrible accident. And that's heartbreaking enough. But she didn't stop there. She then spent the next 20 years traveling the globe, going to holy places, speaking to priests and monks and holy spiritual people to try to reclaim that part of herself. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story of spiritual healing, emotional healing, physical healing, because
we need all of that, yes.
grief is a physical reaction.
Yes, it is.
So I think that was the most profound story. They're not all that deep, not all of them. Some of them are more lighthearted, more fun, but it was a real variety of stories.
So as a writer, and she's also a coach, sorry, I forgot to tell you that one. What have you learned from your own experience with journaling and storytelling in times of difficulty? And you already kind of prefaced it, that when you journaling, you got your emotions out on the paper.
Yeah.
But can you speak deeper on that?
Yes, I think that one of the things, because I get to have a layer of coach over my literary interests, so it's always sort of a, what are you going to do about it? Can you empower yourself with this and do something more with it? And so I found that when people write their stories, very often they're afraid of being seen and heard. So they're afraid of that they're going to be judged, which is so natural. And so I've developed methods of coaching them to be able to write fearlessly and to find their own voice and to be able to stand in that space and own their story and let it take up space in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, because everybody has a story.
Everyone has a story.
You have amazing stories, and when we share them and we can demonstrate that it didn't beat us, that it actually made us stronger, it gives other people permission to do that too. It's beautiful.
It does, and a lot of times when I tell my story, people are like,
right?
How'd you even think of choosing to do that?
Right? So in
then doing this was never in my wheelhouse, to have my own TV show to help people grieve well.
Right? So you're doing with video that I do with print. It's like helping people live their lives in a much better and more satisfying way.
Right. Giving them options and choices so you can choose to have joy and dream again.
Yes.
I had to
It's a
choose
choice. Yeah.
joy and dream again. One little thing a day.
Right.
It is really what it takes to be able to go, okay, I don't want to exist anymore.
Right.
I want to live my best life.
Right.
Because you're not going to, if you lost a person, you're not going to forget them. And that's the biggest thing is people, oh, I might forget them. I don't want to think I forgot about them. So no, I have to stay here. No, you don't. Right?
Right. You can heal and move on.
They're in here.
And carry them in your heart.
And they will stay in here.
Yeah.
So that's so amazing.
One of the things that I found so interesting in my workshops when I encourage people to journal, because everybody knows how to journal, right? I journal a little bit differently. In workshop, usually they're small workshops, and it's always a safe place, you know. And so when we journal, I say, listen, at some point I'm going to give you the opportunity after we do a journaling exercise to read out loud what you've written. And this goes against everybody's idea of what journaling is, because that's a private thing, very private. But when we read in my groups, nobody comments, nobody criticizes, nobody offers any help. And what happens is writers, when they're really timid about it at first, but then they catch on about how empowering it is, when they hear the words they've written with their own voice, it resonates differently for them. And it's a kind of a healing experience.
Wow.
They hear it differently. Years ago when I was talking about journaling, in fact, how I got the name Journaling a Sacred Practice, if you've ever written anything down and you come back and look at it later and you go, who wrote that? Because that's really good. I say that's your soul talking to you. Oh. So when people read their writing out loud, it's kind of a metaphor for their soul coming through and talking directly to them as a dear heart. And they get quite emotional when they read just a plain journal entry they thought was just an ordinary piece of writing. It can touch them differently.
And also I know, I've been told to journal, and I'm not good at it. I'll confess that right now. But I know when I have journaled, and you go back to what you've journaled 2 years ago, you're like, wow, I have come a long way.
Yes, there's that
right
too.
There's that epiphany going, oh my gosh, I didn't know it. So journaling is kind of like a
pin in the map,
warp pin thing where you're just like, oh my goodness, I forgot about that. I forgot. And then you're like, wow, have I come a long way.
And our memories, you know, they get kind of hazy after time, but when you're in the moment and you capture the details of a feeling or a circumstance that's going on, it's very specific. So when you come back and revisit that, it kind of like sparks your memory and you can relive it all over again.
Right.
Or you can have the epiphany of going, wow, I've really changed.
Yeah. Just in this last year, people are telling me, oh my gosh, you have changed so much. And I'm like, huh? Really? And it's just, I have more confidence. I know who I am now. I know I have my self-worth. I have my self-love now. Whereas before, I was just going through the motions, but it wasn't deep-seated in my heart. Now it's deep-seated in my heart. So people are like, oh my gosh, you are so different.
So that's the place you come from, is from your heart.
Right.
Beautiful.
Because I used to want to be back in the shadows because that's how I was taught as a little kid. Right?
Right.
Kids be, seen, not heard.
Oh my gosh, right?
And no, your opinion does not matter. So I did that for years.
You were a good girl.
Always a good girl. And I got my therapy through my horses.
Oh yeah, that helps, right? Yeah. Best therapists in the world.
They are. They still are. So eventually, guys, I will be doing a day retreat with my miniature horse, and I'm hoping to have another surprise of something in August to do pet therapy and help people get through, so people can experience in themselves just the oneness you have with the horse, and how they can totally read you, and they will Yeah. Tell you exactly about yourself.
They do, don't they?
Yes,
it's
they
amazing.
do. But then I help you through that. Right? So what are 3 small things with someone watching this right now can they do to start their healing journey through writing?
Wow. It doesn't take a lot of time. I would say buy a really pretty journal that you want to write in, right? Something that you really adore, and even maybe a fancy pen, just because it feels better on the page. And then I would say write for 10 minutes at a time. You know, it doesn't have to be a long time to just write what's coming through. Don't try to think your way through it. It's just write what shows up. Write about the feelings that are coming up, or write about, you know, when your dog walks into the room as you're writing. Write about that. Write what shows up. And recognize that in the moment you're getting everything you absolutely need, and just keep doing that. Another trick I like to pull is like pull a favorite book off the shelf or a magazine, open it up and close your eyes and put your finger on a page and on a word or a sentence and write from there. So it's kind of like it gives you a prompt. You can give yourself a prompt and write for 10 minutes about that. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to write an outline. You don't have to do it for hours at a time. If you do it consistently, you're kind of courting the muse because she likes the attention. So if you are working with the intention of writing every single day, you're building a muscle that makes it easier to write as you just sit down. And you don't have to have the big idea in your head, just write what's going on. It's great exercise.
Oh, okay. What if I don't like to read?
I know.
I'm just going to be devil's advocate
right?
Here. What if I struggle reading, I don't like to read, and I really don't like to write?
Oh, I have a trick for that
I'm
too.
sure you do. So.
I work with a lot of people and they have a lot to say when I'm coaching them to write their books. And they'll go, but I don't like to write. I'm like, okay, do you like to, walk every day? Do you like to do yoga every day? If you like to walk, there are lots of great apps. Talk into your phone while you're walking. A lot of people brainstorm while they walk or, or doing something else.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You're kind of tricking your brain that doesn't like to write. You're just telling a story and you're not writing. But the beauty part of it is when you're done recording it, you get a transcript. So there's no typing involved.
Wow. Okay, so what app would you recommend?
I like Dragon. It's called Dragon. And you download it onto your phone and you just talk into it. There's 2 versions. There's a free version and then there's the paid version, which has a little bit more bells and whistles.
Do I need the paid version?
Not really.
I mean, to start, do I need the paid version?
No, you don't. And then you get this nice, neat little email after you're done recording it so that you can just download. So you're editing, you're not typing. It's a great method because a lot of people think best when they're talking. They think out loud when they're talking.
Right. So my girlfriend, she goes on her phone and pretends she's emailing, and she presses the record the voice button. So there's a voice button right there, and then she just starts talking.
Yes.
But she'll do it as she's walking or whatever too. So there's many ways to do it, and then it types it for you, and then you just reread it, and then you edit, because it's not always going to be
the best. Well, no. I mean, and even I always start with a rough draft. There are very few perfect manuscripts first time through. We just got to take the pressure off ourselves, and God bless all of those middle high school English teachers.
Oh boy.
Middle school English teachers who just try to inform us about how to write well, but mostly turned a lot of people off about writing. The dreaded 5-paragraph essay outline. Ew.
Yep. Well, you told me, just write me 1,000 words. I'm like,
how do I do that? Talking to your phone.
Talk in my phone. Woo! I can get it to you. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's the way.
That's awesome. And then, what's the other one? how does embracing what's possible help someone who feels stuck?
Ooh, I love that. You know what? That is a coaching term. What is possible from here? And,
hello.
Right, right.
That's the name of her book. I didn't even know that. I'm like,
I did that deliberately.
deliberately.
Because in coaching, when somebody's having a difficult time, you know, we kind of go, well, you know, when you say, in an ideal world, you know, if money wasn't an object, what would you do? And we all kind of get that dreamy look on our face. We go, oh, that. And you get them into that feeling of like, oh, that juicy, yummy feeling. I've already got what I want. I've got the money, the respect, the home, the whatever you want. And then you get them locked into that feeling and you go, and what's possible from there? If you're already having a really great feeling and then you say what's possible from there, you can only go up from there. And it generates more positive feelings.
Okay. Devil advocate.
Okay.
I have these great feelings, but then you go, how's that going to happen?
Oh, well, that's where coaching comes in.
How's that going to happen? Or what does that look like?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You then you look at an accountability process. We go, okay, create a plan. You know, look at the end result and create strategies back all to the way to like a daily action. Nothing really big. And it's very important to not really kind of look at the how, because sometimes the how is a mystery. Sometimes how just shows up.
Well, the how is God's deal.
That's exactly right. It's not your business.
It's not our business.
Your
how,
business
and we're not
is-
supposed to be doing the how. We're supposed to go.
It's the why. Why is
the
this
why.
important to you? Who are you helping by doing this? What are you changing by doing this? The why is generally more of a universal. It's one of those big ideas. And you lock into the why, and the how will take care of itself.
It's so funny, and it may not. The how may not happen the way you're thinking it's going to happen.
Oh, no.
Because that's how God is, right?
Right.
We think we know it all, but He's ultimately in control.
Right,
And He'll make it happen the way He'd like it to happen, unless we get in the way.
Unless we get in the way, and we have ways of getting in the way all the time. But you know, Oprah said she had never dreamed as big as what her life has turned out to be.
Wow.
And it was like she operated on faith the whole time. And if she'd operated on what she thought was her great idea, we might never have heard of her to the degree that she has had an impact on the world.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah, so stick with the why, not the how. And then have an accountability partner. Somebody goes, hey, did you make that phone call that you said you were going to make? And you're like, "Grr." But if you know somebody's going to ask you about it, you're going to do it.
Usually. But who would you recommend as an accountability partner for someone? Because I know if it's a friend, I know my roommate, we hold each other accountable very well.
Right.
But some of my friends, we just don't do it. I mean, we will, but it's not a daily thing. It's not even a weekly thing.
Right.
We'll go, oh yeah, did you ever do that? But it's not a
I think it's
every day
intentional.
it's certain.
I think it's intentional. You have to enter into an agreement like that intentionally. You go, listen, I'm going to promise to always tell you the truth. Will you always tell me the truth too? It's a great place to start.
Yes.
And then say, okay, you say, when they say they're going to do something, you say, when are you going to do it and how am I going to know? And it's a gentle accountability. And if they don't make it, you know, sometimes you don't make it. But if they know that you're going to ask them about it, they're more likely to do it. And they might do it 10 minutes before that phone call, but they're going to do it.
I do that sometimes. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, oh, my coach call is in 10 minutes. I better get my answer set up.
I better get it done.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's really good. What role, in your opinion, as a coach, as an author, does self-love and love from others, or love lost, play in the healing process?
That's such a great question.
It's a hard
Boy,
question.
how much time do we have?
You have at least 10 more minutes.
You know, I think that, gosh, there are so many ways to approach that. We often, we have an inner critic. We all have an inner critic, and it
Some
goes
worse than others.
24/7. And it's a matter of recognizing that we have an inner critic and then saying, okay, you can take the afternoon off now. You don't get a vote in what happens next. And then if we recognize how much we are loved by those around us, by God, by Spirit, whatever it is that gives us that touchstone, and we have so much love for others, and we often give more love to others than we give to ourselves.
Oh, so true.
Right? And it's quite a revelation. Have you heard of the book, Nonviolent Communication?
I've heard of it. I have not read it.
It's a discipline. It's a whole thought system, and it's really good. But I had a revelation one day, and I went, oh, nonviolent communication starts with the way I talk to myself. Right? So it's about not beating yourself up when you're making a mistake. You go, I made a mistake. I'm going to do better next time. And it's not easy to do because we think, well, I've got to beat myself up if I'm going to improve. But that's not how it works. We've got to love ourselves up. And the more we love ourselves up, the more love we have to share with others. And the more we're going to see it reflected back to us.
So true. So true. And when we make a mistake, it's very important to learn from it. What did I learn from this mistake? So you're very aware and you don't make it again.
And I don't have to make it again.
Right.
It's great. It's just
because you learn from everything. You just may not be conscious of it. Right.
It's an opportunity to review where you went off track, but not to condemn yourself for it.
And then you can journal it.
And then you can journal it and get it off on the page, and then you don't have to think about it again. It feels so good to get it out of your head.
Yeah.
And onto the page.
And let it go.
Right. Well, you can let it go.
Forgive yourself. Let it go.
And move on.
And move on.
And vow to do better. Vow to love yourself better the next time.
Yes.
Fail upward, as they say.
Yes.
Each time you have an opportunity to get better, take it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
I love
are all
that. I
baby
love
steps.
that show.
Absolutely.
He was so funny.
So funny.
So, any others with regards to self-love besides the way you talk to yourself, because that is the most important one. And then I had little stickets everywhere.
Oh,
I'm worthy.
Oh, I love those
I'm loved.
affirmations.
I'm loved. So you can put little affirmations all over your house. I had it on my mirror in my bathroom. I had it on my refrigerator. I had it by my coffee. So everywhere I go, right? I had all these little affirmations, and
you go,
it
oh
really
yeah,
is
that's
like,
right.
oh yeah.
So one day I got inspired to take a dry erase marker, bright pink, dry erase marker.
Okay.
On my bathroom mirror, I said, hello, gorgeous.
There you go.
And though every time I'd walk by it, I'd get this message, hello, gorgeous. It was so much fun. Dry erase comes right off. You're not ruining your mirror. And I think those affirmations in surprising places are so much fun. And they just kind of lift your spirits a little bit.
Yep. And you can change them up
All the time.
all the time.
All the time.
Whatever's going on.
Yeah, just send yourself little love notes all the time.
Yep.
Because we could all use a few more love notes.
We have to have love notes, right?
Yeah. Right now, we need love notes more than ever because, we're bombarded all the time with 24/7 news. We can barely keep up with it.
No.
And if we create a routine of sending yourself a love note, sending ourselves a voicemail or a text, voice text.
Okay, so you got to not explain, but give me an example.
Oh man, I've done this before. So I'll pick up my phone and I'll turn on the microphone in an email and go, hello, gorgeous. I hope you have a fabulous day. And I send it to myself. Aww. And even though I know I'm sending it to myself, when I open it, it makes me so happy. Like, it costs nothing to shed that kind of love on yourself.
Right.
And when you're feeling that, then you just become a beacon of light and love. And people are attracted to anything you have to say.
Absolutely. And one thing I tried to do, or I've always done it, but I'm more purposeful about it now, is because I know people don't love themselves and they don't hear good things about themselves.
Yeah.
So when I'm out and I see you and then something strikes me about you, I tell you.
I know, I do
I
that
tell
too.
you. I'm like,
Yes.
oh my God, that scarf is so gorgeous. Or whatever it is that you're feeling about them, don't keep it to yourself.
No, it's such a gift.
You have to let other people know, and they're like,
they
They
feel
do,
seen.
and they feel seen. Everybody they have to feel seen. They want to feel loved, and they want to feel known.
It sounds kind of scary thing to do if you've never done it.
But it's really not.
It's not, but you just kind
start
of
complimenting people.
a complete
And
stranger
then-
walk up and tell her how fabulous she looks. A smile will come over her face that'll just like warm your heart. It's so great.
Right. And okay, so I'm going to tell you this.
Yay.
So, when a person's having a bad day, I used to judge it.
Yeah.
I used to. I'm like that, but, right? And you don't know what's going on in their lives.
Don't.
And so, I've become more empathetic only because of what I've been through.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm in this grocery store, and the checkout gal is just
she's not having a
obviously
good
not
day.
having a good day.
Yeah.
I'll look at her and I said, I am so sorry you're having a bad day. Is there anything I can do for you? And that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah,
It does because you have to be willing
To be
to
snapped
listen.
at.
And to be snapped at. But usually they'll go, and they'll come out of it. And she'll tell you what happened to her that morning. Wow. And then it changes them. And then I'll say, can I pray for you? Or, I will be thinking about you. I hope you have a better day. Depends on the line behind you, right? But it really makes you more empathetic instead of just judging the situation and just...
Right.
I'm really trying not to be judgmental at all. I'm trying to understand where people are coming from now.
Yeah.
And that is because of my show. It really is.
How beautiful.
I mean, I was doing it before, but now I'm really intentional
doing
about
it.
it. So, anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tidbit, and it does it's so much easier to judge and just go off and then make them have you a bad day.
Well, then
Right?
you're being reactive and instead of just like pausing and going, wow, recognizing this human being who's probably hurting or something happened to them and they don't have the same kinds of insights that you do.
Right.
And you give them such a gift.
Right. Or even the person that cuts you off and they're in a hurry. And like, nope. I hope you make it safe.
That's what I say.
I hope you make it safe wherever you're going. You
Yes.
obviously need to get somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I
Right?
hope you get there okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Miss Cynthia, it's been a joy.
It's been so much fun.
And I want you to tell my audience, like, how can they find you? If, your books, if they're interested in them, where to go.
Okay.
I know you're on Amazon. I know you're
Oh, yeah,
everywhere.
everybody's on Amazon.
But,
Yeah.
is there somewhere special to go?
Yeah.
Any coaching you want to talk about that you do? So if you're interested in writing a book, she's your girl. So she's going to tell you how to find her and anything else you want.
Yay. Well, yes, my website is coachcynthiagregory.com and my email is coachcynthia.gregory@gmail.com.
And I didn't do that, and she never got my email.
But yeah, if you have any questions about writing a book, coaching questions, please reach out. I offer a free discovery session. So if we want to have a conversation and we never speak again, you'll get something out of it. But maybe it'll set you on a new direction and to follow your passion for sharing your story and putting it out there in the world and giving people permission to share their stories too.
Yeah, because right now, do you have all your authors for your next book?
No, I'm working on Love Notes 2.0.
I'm
so
one. I'm one of them.
Yay! Yes.
Gotta give you my 1,000 words.
Just 1,000 words. We'll get there.
I'm gonna tell you my story. Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun though, because as an award-winning writer, I help my authors tell their story better. So they don't have to be perfect because they've got a good editor on their side.
Right.
And then we put all these stories together and we'll have a compilation of 40 amazing stories to share with the world by the end of the year.
That would be awesome.
It'll be so much fun. So if you're interested in publishing a chapter, if you're not ready to write a whole book and you want to write a chapter in a book that is soul-based and love-based, reach out. Let's have a conversation.
Right. So do you have a website or anything? Or
Yes.
just email you?
CoachCynthiaGregory.com.
Oh, you probably said that, didn't you?
I did.
Sorry.
It's okay. We can repeat it.
Do it again. So anyone that needs a coaching session, she is doing a free consultation, so I would definitely take her up on that. Yeah, she's very inspiring, and she will help you all along the way. Any last things you want to tell my audience?
Be brave and share your story, because if you have a desire to share your story, I can guarantee you there's somebody who needs to hear it.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Because we connect through stories.
That's how our brains are wired.
You're right. So, and then what did they do way back when?
They told stories around the campfire. Mm-hmm. So they would remember what's important.
Yes. So be brave. Take one step at a time. Love you guys. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.
Coming up next, Adventures with Theo and Zebby, right here on Embracing Life Again with Catherine Koffer.
So I am with Zebby right now. He's actually right here just kind of plugging along. He doesn't feel that great, but we need to get him out sooner than later. And this is his buddy Macho. So we're bringing Macho out with him, so if he does come up to a dog, we can see how he reacts, and then he'll probably look to Macho to see, oh, it's okay. But anyway, you'll see us walk down the street, and we're probably going to be going to the vet clinic, which is right down the street, and see if there's any dogs there for him, to see how he reacts.
Zeb's not feeling too well today.
So the reason I am carrying this now is because if a dog does come at me, I will forewarn the owner that I will smack the dog. So it's not to hit Zebby or anything, it's just to keep the dog out of our range. Just if you're wondering why I have the little prop. So this is the trail that Zebby was on when he got attacked, and there are two dogs coming up. So we're gonna see how he does. So Phyllis, why don't you go with me? And there's a horsey too.
They are adorable.
Hello.
Aren't they cute?
Oh, it's just a little one of you.
Now, are they minis or ponies?
Yeah. They're mini.
They are minis.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Can I see how he is? He got attacked by a dog that was off leash over here last Thursday, and I just want to make sure he's okay because he was really timid
Do you need us
earlier.
to do something?
No, I just wanted to see if he'll come up to you.
Yeah, that's right. And this one's friendly.
I think this one is too, although he sometimes barks at other dogs.
Hi, sweetheart. A little Frenchie. Are you okay with him?
Oh, yeah. Probably want to play.
You're doing so good.
I'm sure he'd like to play with the horses.
You can come around.
He likes to play with the cows, but he gets
Oh, you're doing so good, Sid.
Yes.
Good boy.
Good job, Zebby.
Yeah, he's a therapy horse. You
Yeah,
have
I've been
to
over
go
there
stuff-
to volunteer.
Right, with dogs, right? Oh yeah, it is
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I haven't been called yet, but I would, I was out just hop over.
Yeah.
Hop
It's
over.
okay.
We got three puppy interactions.
Hi,
There.
baby.
Oh, but
Three
you're
different
doing so good.
You're doing good,
So
Zed.
the dog just jumped. Oh,
A dog was circling us and just hit his hind end, and he's still yucky from it. Yeah. So,
Zach, you said?
Good job, Zebby.
Zebby.
Zebby. You were wonderful.
I know. We're here to bring smiles and hope. That I can't tell you what he'll do because he had to fight off the dog.
Yeah, probably
So
should
when
have
he,
This is
Macho, and he's a little nippy, so.
no, Macho is Phyllis's, and he also belongs to the car.
Okay.
Naughty but nice.
You're being a good boy.
no reaction whatsoever. That's wonderful, Zebs. You
Say
did
hi to Rocco again to make sure.
Yeah, say hi, Dad.
Boy, it got nice and warm today.
You did good. And so he was so skittish coming home seeing any dogs that I'm like, oh no. He can't be afraid of dogs because he works with dogs, right? So
He's doing
that's
really
good. You're doing really good, babe.
good job, Zebby.
You're doing so good.
Good job. He's like, yeah, this dog doesn't scare me.
It was a Siberian Husky mix, and he had bi eyes, right? But they just didn't look right. You know how you know a dog, this doesn't look right that day, and he didn't look right, and he wasn't right. Oh, hi, honey. So, I brought this just to fend them off.
Yeah, so smart.
Fend anybody off. Yeah, 'cause, I mean,
You're
this
doing
is
so good.
what he does, and he can't be like
Right.
trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is good because he's.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
you're
not
so
reacting at
good.
all. That is
See,
perfect,
there are
Zeb.
nice puppies out there.
Good job,
There are
Zebby.
nice puppies. Not all of them are gonna bite you.
Good job, Zebs. Oh, good job, Zebby.
Thank you.
Thank you for interacting.
Are you going back? Okay. Enjoy.
Good job, Zebby. And Macho, too. That was wonderful.
You've taken the first step to embracing life again. Let's continue to break barriers, find joy, and dream without limits. Join us next time and let's discover inspiration through every transition together.